All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Honorable County Commissioners meeting is now in session. The Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, and this honorable meeting. At this time, Commissioner Hooks will lead us in prayer. Afterwards, please remain standing for the pledge to our nation's flag.
Let's bow our heads. Our good Lord, it's again that we've come to thee, Father, thank you for another opportunity to meet again, Father, in this chamber. Lord, and we pray tonight as we go through the county's business, Lord, that, Father, everything will be done in decent and in order, Lord, and that you would be pleased with it. Lord, and we want to lift the names of the children, Lord, Super Jack and other children there at St. Jude. We pray for them. We pray for the sick in our community. We pray for our homes. Lord, and we ask God that you protect them, put a guiding hand upon them. Father, and bless us now as we go forward. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Please silence your cell phones.
Mr. Chairman, sir, before we begin, I would just like to say also, I feel that as Americans, we also need to be aware, be very thoughtful of what's going on in Israel. And not just for Israel, and I know it's a sad thing, and I'm sure that we all stand. But one of the things that a lot of folks are forgetting is that we have American hostages there. We have Americans who are being held hostage by people who do not care about humanity, do not care about people. And we need to be very thoughtful then. We need to be very prayerful for those folks. I know there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the Middle East, and we may think that that doesn't impact us, and and maybe in the short term it doesn't, but in the long run it does impact us. What we allow to happen to other Americans can happen to us someday. We all like to travel, we all like to do things, we all like to participate, and if we allow a situation like that then we're all always targets, and we don't need that. This is a free country. Men and women died that we could have the freedom in this country. And so we need to be aware of that, and we need to be very thoughtful of that. And just please pray for Israel and pray for those that's having to deal with this, and the families of those, and the atrocities. And I won't stand here and I won't talk about some of the things that we already know about what they've done to the children and the babies and the women and all these other things. We see it on TV. It's a sad situation. And I think that in our counties and in our cities and in our states, it has to begin. And we have to begin here knowing that this isn't right, and we have to stand against it. And so I just want folks to be aware of that and just really oppose that, because we don't need to. I've been seeing on TV where some of the students in these Ivy League colleges have been standing with the terrorists and standing with the mobs and saying, oh, how unfair and all that. And the problem is they go to these Ivy League colleges and they learn all these great things, but they don't truly know history. They forget their history. And one of the writers once said, when you forget history, you're bound to repeat it. And we don't need to do that. This country doesn't need to fall back to that. So please, if you can, just pray for them.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Gann. Roll's been called. So please, if you're not logged in now, first thing I need to do is entertain the waiving of the 12-day rule for June 29th's minutes as amended, and September 11th's minutes as well. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Gann, second by Hooks. Mr. Gann.
I defer to the county attorney. Executive. Yeah, sorry.
Let me finish Taylor. Commissioner Hooks?
I was going to refer to him today.
Okay.
On the September 12th minutes, there was the minutes that were submitted to you in this packet were incomplete. So the minutes before you on your table are the completed versions. For the June 29th minutes, they were incorrect. The appropriation on the minutes that were approved was not what you all voted on as appropriation. There was an attachment that was not included in that through the amount offered you approved. So Connie saw this, we talked to the comptroller. All we need to do is approve amended minutes that are accurate, and we'll be in compliance.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right.
14 yes.
14 yes. Motion passes. All right, at this time, now I need to, for a motion for the minutes.
Yeah, because you just waived the 12-day
All right.
rule, that's all you did.
So at this time, I'll take the motion for the amended
This is for September.
September 11th minutes. Commissioner Hooks? And Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Hooks?
As the county executive has already stated, we've heard the explanation, and I'm good with that. It came before the budget committee as well.
Okay. Commissioner Cunningham?
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk? All right, majority passed. All right. So, now acceptance of committee reports and correspondence.
Actually, we have to vote, I'm sorry. This is for the amended June minutes now. That was for the September minutes. We're doing a separate vote on each one.
Okay. So we just voted on September 11th.
Yes.
Now we need to vote on
On the amended June.
June 29th as amended.
Yes, sir.
All right, now I hear a motion on June 29th as amended. Commissioner Hooks, Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Hooks,
Nothing further.
Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk?
My machine's down.
All right, majority pass. Now, acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. I hear a motion. Motion by Duff, second by Berry. Commissioner Duff.
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir. I'd like to just, on number 6, the school liaison committee meeting, down at the bottom, it says, where they were talking about the study with figures ranging from $75,000 to $250,000. I guess, Mr. President,
In my recollection of that in the meeting was wild guesses, like, could be this, another commissioner said, or a school board member said it could be up to this, just a broad range of discussion. Does that sound?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, so we really are still open game until we actually,
100%.
until we find out what it is.
In liaison committee meeting next week, next Thursday night, I believe. So there's a motion before that committee to consider an RFP to select somebody to do this. So what that range ends up actually being, we have no idea.
And then on the back page, at the end of that first paragraph there, where it said, continued discussion occurred if specific communities, specifically the constituents of Midway and Oliver Springs, would support such a project, since it could be probable that a tax increase could fund the current actual project beyond the proposal. Is that, are we saying that Midway and Oliver Springs maybe not be for it because of a tax increase?
I mean, I think a lot of speculation at this point.
Okay.
There were no decisions made either way. There was no stances or positions taken like we will do this, we won't do this. It was just a general discussion, and that was one of the points that people wondered. If we move forward with the 3-in-1 model, for example, if that's the way it went, would Oliver Springs and Midway support it? And that remains to be seen. But it also remains to be seen if that's even the way to go. We have no idea of knowing if that's the way to go.
Well, it just seems like if you look back over the years, that's what we've been experiencing all along, is that you take care of one of them, and then it comes around for the other one to get something, and then we won't do it because we have a tax increase. It took taxes to do these. I'm just curious. I just hope we don't
One
get
point
into
to
that.
that is our proposal is to do a study that would lead to a comprehensive capital improvement plan for the entire county. So the situation you just described never happens. that everybody is, all 17 campuses are considered in a big plan. And that way you don't have this one getting that one and this one getting that one in hopes for something in the future for everybody else. It's all in one big plan. That's the goal.
I just hope it doesn't come down to you know, to the communities that have been taken care of.
Have to decide.
Right. And on number 20, from you to the county to Senator Yeager on the line across the river from the bridge, where we were talking about Tennessee providing $2 million and Walmart providing some, and the county and the city providing some. It just seems like that would be a great time for us to look at some kind of creative financing to be able to be a part of that rather than just helping, because in a lot of cases we've asked developers to spend money to get utilities to a particular spot.
Right.
So if we could, if we need to be included, that's fine. Do some kind of creative financing that would get us, as that project moves along and people sign up, get our money back.
I think it's going to be one of the most important things that the Long Range Planning Committee ends up working on. Right now, we're just in data gathering on what's important. We know this is going to be one of them. And there's an opportunity here, you're exactly right, and how the county approaches this particular project and how we can apply it to areas around the county where growth is also expected. So I'm excited about where that conversation is going to go with long range planning.
It just seems like the sooner we do that, the more time we have to try to come up with that creative financing part.
On the other side of that, in no way was I committing Roane County to funds here. I was just saying we will consider it come budget season.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
21, talking about the election commission. Our obligation is to provide them a safe environment for, and it looks like this is a good thing for the property committee to look at, but it looks like we need to get some numbers on what it costs, savings at the courthouse if we did move them, because as we go forward with the health department, it's going to be too late if we don't do something.
And we're right there. We're at that decision.
Right. So it just seems like that's something that needs to be taken up.
Yeah, and if you'll remember this, so that this consideration was made because the property committee opened the door for them to consider it.
Right.
And they've chosen to not take advantage of that opportunity.
But it's our obligation to provide them a place, right? Not necessarily.
That's my understanding.
And then 22 was on the TEMA, and I'm just curious if we're getting any of those funds back from the storms that came through.
Yes, we are, but we did not meet the threshold as a county. Our department submitted, the highway department did not participate in submitting the damages that they incurred, so we did not meet the threshold as a county. However, because we are a county adjacent to where a disaster was declared, Knox County with a tornado, we were included to be able to qualify for reimbursement funds. Tim, is that a decent explanation? Okay. So, yeah.
So we just chose not to.
No, we did. We participated. We just didn't meet the when we submitted ours.
Okay.
We didn't meet the threshold, but because it was a broader area, we got included. Otherwise, if Knox County hadn't been included in what happened there, we wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have got anything back.
So we're not getting any.
We are getting it because we're in the larger.
Number 27, the report on debt obligation, the 3.7 million from the schools. Is that the schools with Carrier? I think it is.
Train.
Train. That's their deal. So it's really not. It's debt on the books, but they're supposed to be guaranteed their money back, right?
Well, they'll still have to pay debt once they draw their final payment down. We'll be in an app where they're making payments.
Okay, so we do have 3.7 million of debt on that. Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr.
Commissioner Brackett.
You said that the highway department chose not to put in for free money? Is that something that?
Tim, correct. The highway department did not submit their damages for this particular event, correct?
Correct.
Right.
So that's not something that we can I guess what I'm saying is, we have no control over trying to push somebody to do that.
Correct.
Why would you leave free money on the table?
I can't wait, when we asked everybody to submit, cities, utilities, of course, us, the ones that did, and the ones that didn't. I don't have any more information other than that.
It just makes no sense, but okay. I mean, why somebody wouldn't?
Commissioner Hooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say that Dennis and Terry and them looked at it, at the cost that they incurred, and it was able to be handled within the budget. He may not have anything to submit. I mean, you're talking about the trees down, and I think the victims, and this is getting outside the rural scope here, but I think the true victims are the ones that had residential damage that state and federal government don't want to recognize. Some with insurance, some didn't have any insurance. And it left, I know one in my end of the county, it left some people that didn't have homeowners insurance in a bind. So I think as the legislative committee meets and moves forward, I think that we need to talk to our state representatives and maybe some federal representatives to try to see how we can ease the burden, because they are the true victims. They are the true victims. Whether or not you got homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance doesn't pay for everything. And I'm on the soapbox, Mr. Chairman, I apologize.
Just to that point, Mr. Chairman, I in no way do I mean to insinuate anything one way or the other. I just simply have no information on why some people submitted and others didn't. So I don't, by any means, want to insinuate.
Chair recognizes Tim Suter.
I think part of the situation with the highway department was that the timing of the storm was during daytime hours, during their normal work hours. So those hours aren't eligible for reimbursement. It's only additional resources, additional hours, anything above and beyond what we normally do. So I think if you look at the timing of the storm, their main effort was the initial response during business hours. And then once everything was open, they did have some, but a lot of their stuff was in that period that wouldn't be reimbursed anyway. So collecting the data and justifying it is an extremely expensive process. It's hard to do. So unless you're talking a whole lot of money, it really doesn't pay off.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other discussions on committee reports and correspondence? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. (14-0). All right, is there any notaries?
There are. Ryan Bagwell, Michael Brown, Harry Kanzler, Anastasia Kraft, Tim Danovich, Angela Dugal, Zay Elbay, Joanne Farrell, Wanda Frost, Laura Gordon, Tiffany King, Elisa Moore, Alan Russell, Greg Samples, Donita Ann Scarborough, and Jerica Steelman.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for reading those. Motion by Commissioner Hendrickson, second by Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Hendrickson.
Appreciate your willingness to serve.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Nothing, Fred.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. (14-0). All right, this time we're going to be hearing of the public hearing of delegation. So if you could, step up to the microphone, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce the city manager for City of Oak Ridge, Mr. Jack Suggs. I know a couple months ago, the ERB submitted a commentary to an environmental assessment on the Oak Ridge Airport. And there were some questions you and I had individually, so I talked to Mr. Suggs about being potentially coming to reporting, and so he comes today to do it.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I'd like to introduce Kendall Moore to you. Kendall Moore is an assistant in the city manager's office who's been handling the airport for us on a daily basis and doing a great job. And I'm gonna ask her to give a quick update to where the airport is. And then after that, if either Kendall or I can answer questions, we'd be happy to do so.
Hi there. Thanks for letting us to speak tonight. As he said, I'm Kendall Moore, formerly the grant and compliance coordinator and now assistant to the city manager. We're looking at the airport development of a 500-foot runway in front of the K-25 property in what you know as the ETTP. It will be for commercial use, I think small cargo, Learjet class, private propeller. We're not going to see large cargo or commercial passenger. And I've got a map that we've got over here. If you'd like to take a look at that, that's got the layout on it. And just a really brief history, in 2009, the Oak Ridge General Aviation Airport was conceived as a general regional reliever airport. And from 2012 to 2020, the Metropolitan Knoxville Airport Authority, MKAA, undertook planning efforts, funding research, and technical reviews. In 2018, we had the airport master plan. In 2019, it was conditionally approved by the FAA. And then in 2020, Oak Ridge took over sponsorship of the airport. And when we did that, we also assumed the funding originally secured by MKAA. And so to this point, we've selected a contractor. Our environmental assessment is nearly complete. The document's been completed, public comment has been collected, and it's in the hands of the FAA right now. We're hoping for it to be returned to us with a finding of no significant impact in November, fingers crossed. Our preliminary engineering is almost complete. We are working on acquiring privately owned property that should close any day now. Land transfers, the city is working with the GSA about transfers of DOE land. We're soon to contract to have preliminary financial evaluation that will address key questions about the airport's viability. And then we're on scoping meetings with our contractor, TDOT Aeronautic, and the city about final design. And if all stars align, and I know there's a lot of hiccups and bureaucracy with DOE land and major undertakings like this, but if all stars align, we're looking at breaking ground in summer of 2024 and probably more realistically fall to winter of 2025. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Are you gonna have to close Bear Creek Road, it comes across 58, I guess, or 95?
There's Hall Road here, so if you're...
Bear Creek will not close, that's a haul road owned by UCorp.
So there's Bear Creek and then there's Blair Road, and Blair Road will remain open under any discussion. There is a possible future where that bend in Blair Road will be straightened out, but for the next 5 or more years, there will be no change to Blair Road.
And the acreage that's gonna be used for the airport, that doesn't affect any of our economic development opportunities as far as Roane County goes?
The acreage which is going to be used for the airport is currently owned primarily by the Department of Energy and by the Community Reuse of East Tennessee. Department of Energy has undertaken to transfer it through the GSA, but it has a caveat on it, the land is being transferred for an airport. I won't tell you that that land might not be used for some other purpose, but the net result of building an airport is seen as an economic boost for the area because of the technological basis for the area, the ability to use aeronautics, engineering and material science, and then the nuclear component and transporting of isotopes and things like that. So we see it as a net benefit for the community, or we wouldn't be pursuing.
So it won't interfere with the companies that we've already got coming in down in that location?
It will not interfere with anyone who is currently located or any prospect I'm aware of. There's no one looking to buy that land. It will change an access route to the front. There'll be a change in the way they get to the property on the site, but it won't island anything or keep anybody from reaching the property.
Do you have an aviation board or an airport board in Oak Ridge? that's overseeing all of this?
No,
At this time, the work is being done out of the city manager's office. It's our intent to establish an aviation board that will, well, I shouldn't say, it's my belief personally that we'll need to establish an aviation board that will run the airport once we get a little further along.
And if you do that, is it possible to have a representative from Roane County, when that's since the airport's in Roane County?
Airport's in Roane County, and substantial part of Oak Ridge is in Roane County, so I would think that, as that board is made up, that certainly we need to recognize the citizens here and, make sure that at least, they have a voice in where we move forward.
Thank you, sir. Well,
Commissioner Cunningham?
We've had a few calls, and I went to the last meeting that they had at the Doubletree. There's some concern from owners out of the preserves. And I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing, and you may have addressed to Kendall, but I didn't hear it. What kind of noise level is going to be? What are the decibels? I spoke to a man at that meeting, but I'm asking because people are concerned.
okay, yeah, that's a legitimate concern. So within the EA, the noise contours were done as prescribed by the FAA, and those were found to be within acceptable limits. I don't know what the exact decibels were. Our contractors did send someone out to the edge of the Bourse with a decibel reader, and the anticipated noise contours of the airport were lower than that of the highway. So I don't know if that's of any comfort to anybody, but if they want to read something really in-depth about it, the EA is posted to our website.
Well, that gives me something to say to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's
Commissioner-
really the meat of it from the first time.
Commissioner Gann?
Yes, thank you all for coming. The black boundary line here, is this a boundary line for the airport here, this area here?
Yes, that's possible.
So Commissioner Berry asked, does this impact the ones that are currently we're projecting to develop there? This lane here, does it impact future development, industrial development? Will this area here impact future development, industrial development in this area? Do we know that? Or does the airport have plans for, so Blair Road comes around through here. So the area back here where the U was, and these other areas, are those going to be available for future industrial development?
Thank you for your question. The land where the U is, of course, is now part of the national park. It's been dedicated property, so that part of the property is not available. The land behind that, the Kairos project and the Hermes reactor projects are back there, and we're promoting further development back there. The airport information was supplied to the National NRC Nuclear Regulatory Commission to make sure that those facilities were not negatively impacted, both including that, and we supplied the information as part of the investigation of the TRISO-X to make sure that they were out of the path and that TRISO-X wasn't negatively affected. The only effects that you're going to see is there's going to be a change in access to the park. And the park access is anticipated to be, I've used the word tunnel, but it's actually more of a Quonset hut. If you would think of a big scoping with a 4-lane road going through it, that's how you'll enter the park, and you'll go underneath the runway. We think that could be an asset. On top of that, however, Kendall and some others, we worked with the FAA, and we received permission to leave the perimeter road, which is the road on the other side of the park, to leave perimeter road open and constructed for occasional use. So let's say that Kairos wanted to bring in a big reactor, you know, one of those, you've seen these things going down the road. There's no way that's going to make it through a tunnel. You could take it down Blair Road across the site, but that would be difficult. So we have a written approval from the FAA to leave that road in sight, and if someone needs a vessel or something huge to come through, we would issue a notice to airmen to let them know the airport was gonna be closed for an hour or whatever it took to get through. We opened the gate, let them drive the vessel through, and then closed the gate after it was open. So we made the provisions that we can to make sure that that land continues to be accessible, continues to be viable for the type of industries we're looking at. And as I'm sure Wade could tell you, we've been courting pretty hard some more industrial customers out there, looking to get more land transferred from DOE for those customers. And we are 100% invested in making that part successful.
So has any of the industries that we know will be there now, have they expressed any concerns about pulling out or not wanting to be there if the airport is in place, or are they all in favor of the airport? Do we know?
We had a meeting, actually more than a meeting, we had a fairly in-depth study of the airport and its integration into our area, where ultra-safe nuclear fuel, Kairos representatives, the person who owns the property on the corner, I can't remember the name of that one, the big property there, the isotope manufacturer, and others were invited. They were introduced to the airport, and they're given an opportunity, and toward the end, there were neutral comments. We won't use the airport. We don't know why it would be helpful to us, but I don't recall anyone having nobody certainly said we would leave. That would absolutely didn't happen. And with the exception of, it's gonna make it harder to get to our transload facility because we gotta go through your tunnel. I think that's the most negative thing we've heard. Kendall, I don't wanna misspeak, because that doesn't seem bad.
I've heard positive and neutral, but nothing negative.
That's been our experience too.
Thank you.
Commissioner Duff.
Yes, the residents of the preserve would probably be the closest residential area to the airport. And I was at the public meeting. There were some angry folks, not sure if they were from the preserve, and the way the public meeting was set up, it was, you had to go from booth to booth. It really wasn't any discussion. I'm not sure why it was set up in that manner, but I don't think that some of the people from the public were able to express their concerns. But I'm concerned with the preserve, and the flight pattern appears to go right over that neighborhood, and wondering if people have been polled on whether they want that airport there.
To my knowledge, I should say, we haven't conducted a poll to see if people wanted that airport. Just to be frank with that, I haven't done that as a preserve. I do not believe that the flight path, when you consider the flight path, the likely turns, and the elevation gain by the time you leave the end of the runway and get to where the preserve is, the sound studies that Ms. Moore said have indicated that this is not going to be a significant impact on those. Concerning the way the public hearing was conducted, it was a public hearing on the environmental impact of the airport. It was applied. The information there was there to answer questions. There was a court reporter there that recorded all comments that people wanted to give to her. Those were simulated along with comments that were received by the public for 10 days afterwards. All of those were put into the EA response. They were addressed by the contractor and then forwarded to the FAA for evaluation. The FAA is currently, as Ms. Moore said, is currently evaluating the EA and the response. We have had some questions. I'll go ahead and address this. People saying we'd like to see the response before the FAA gets it. It's actually not our document. It's the FAA document. And as soon as those documents are released by the FAA, of course, we will publish them and make them available on our website.
Also, the land use, if the airport were not to be used as an airport and was used for industrial development, would that have the economic impact of the airport versus economic development? Could you speak to what that would look like?
You know, I haven't done a thorough analysis on that, and I wouldn't want to speak. I can only speak on my opinion. I do recognize that the land, particularly right now, we're in a growth period and where land is tight. The land is an issue, and for that reason, we are trying to get more land transferred from DOE on that site and around that site, provide adequate space for industrial development. It's the opinion of the city, or of myself and of the city council through their votes, that this is an economic net positive for our area. And we are working under the assumption that it's a net positive. We believe it will contribute to the economic viability of our area and not subtract from it. That said, there's no denying that we're building an airport, and you could put anything else there, which had an IND2 zoning. That's what the zoning is for that site.
All right, Commissioner Goss.
Is this information available to us on email or?
Yeah, which information are you looking at?
Like these pictures and stuff?
Yeah, that,
Something we can have a better view of.
yeah, well, and that's like a very big document, so you can zoom in and get a lot of detail on it. I don't know if I've sent that one to our website person to publish, but I'll make sure that's published. And in the meantime, Mr. Tim Clinton and Wade also have a copy of it, but I'll make sure that's there.
Go ahead, Mr. Perry.
Two things. You mentioned that Oak Ridge City Council has voted and supported this. I think one of the problems with us is we've never had any involvement. It's in Roane County. We've not had any involvement. And we've not been asked to attend, any meetings. We've not been asked to vote on anything. But it probably affects us more than it does the city of Oak Ridge. In the fact that we've got economic development going on there, potential economic development, the housing component there. So it seems as we need to be more involved in I guess, a little respect from the same standpoint that Oak Ridge is getting. We haven't got, and I know, I'm speaking to the clerk, because you haven't been involved in it. I'm just saying, henceforth forward, I think we really need to be involved in this thing as much as Oak Ridge, because we have the same thing. I don't know that our economic development folks are working on anything there now or not, but it just seems like we've been left out of the picture. And we've had, what was your previous,
I'm still holding my previous role also.
no, I'm saying, what was his name?
Mark Watson?
No, he was working on the development of the airport.
MKA.
Anyway, I just think we need to be considered in all this. And my other question would be, what is the status of CROAT now? Is CROAT dissolved? Is CROAT?
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer the question if that's, if you would like for me to talk about code, or we could finish talking about the airport.
Well, I think that's all part of the airport.
Okay.
I would like to extend an offer to come give updates regularly. I don't know what format that would take, or if it needs to be to different committees or commissions, just being contacted, and I'll make sure you all have my contact information.
Mr. Berry, how about this? The chair will entertain adding a ad hoc subcommittee for this.
But is CROAT dissolved?
Well, Mr. Berry, the community reorganization, CROAT, voted some months ago to dissolve. Okay, they voted, and just to clarify, some of you are familiar with another organization called Heritage LLC. Some people think Heritage is a separate corporation. Heritage is a child of CROAT. So in CROAT, if it goes away, it goes away, Heritage goes away, all of those various agencies that they form go away. They then voted to hire their former President and CEO, Lawrence Young, to come and see over the dissolution of the corporation and the spreading out of their assets. That, to my knowledge, at least, I think I'm in the kind of the same boat you are. I attended a board meeting the other day where they've changed their president. They're undergoing a lot of internal debate on how to move forward. I have not seen a plan. I do not know how they're going to move forward. And all I can tell you is that they expect within roughly 12 months of today for there not to be a ProEd anymore. The questions that immediately come to mind are what happens to the roads, what happens to the campees, what happens to who administers the land leases, who takes possession of the land, what's the taxable status of the land once it's transferred, who coordinates with the Department of Energy to get future transfers. All those questions are very important to Oak Ridge, just like they are to Roane County. Certainly something we're trying to watch and understand, but unfortunately I can't give you any good information.
We used to, several of us were on the ProEd board, so that's how we got our information, was we were involved. Since then, we've had none, and I think that would be great, so if that's possible, thank you for coming, we appreciate it.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Parks.
What's the total acreage or the footprint of the airport?
I'm sorry, that is something that we should have brought with us and I don't have. I apologize.
What is the estimate use? How many flights a day?
The estimated use is in the airport master plan, which was produced by Metropolitan Knoxville, and that's available on the web. But I would be, at this point, I didn't come with that level of detail to answer that question for you.
That's all I got.
All right, thank y'all for coming, appreciate it. We'll continue on hearing from our delegates, so anyone else want to address the county commission, do so at this time.
It's good to see everybody. I'm Justin Snow, President and CEO of the Roane Alliance. And it was good to see a lot of you a couple of weeks ago when we finally got to announce Project XYZ. It was a monumental and exciting day for the county. Most of you know by now, Malibu boats will be coming to Roane County shortly after the first of the year. The job announcement was 770 jobs, and it was a $75 million investment. Thank you. So what I brought tonight, if you haven't seen the press release, I want to give each of the commissioners a copy of the press release. There is a page that has some of the pictures from the event. And then we always like to bring a list of all the events that's going on in the county, upcoming and reoccurring. I don't want the focus tonight to be on this. The focus tonight, here a little bit later, will be on one of our team members, Alan Lutz. So that's all I had for tonight. I'll answer any questions that you guys have.
One question, what are you gonna do next?
Well, that's a great question. And we're working behind the scenes right now, hopefully bringing another project to Rockwood. We have a company that's looking to acquire the Alba Health building in Rockwood. So hopefully here pretty soon we'll be doing another now. So we're trying to keep the momentum going. Lots of good things going on, and I appreciate the support of this commission, not only since I've taken the role as president, but ever since I've worked here since 2017.
So thank you for what you do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else want to address the county commission?
Mr. Chairman, Nancy Hamilton, our school board representative is here, and I'd like for her to give us a little update. What's been going on? Miss Nancy.
In our schools?
Yes. What we've done.
Well, let's see. First, let me just say I represent District Office 6 of Kingston. So this past week, our Roane County High School boys and girls team made it to the state tournament for golf, and our men's team, Will Bacon, was he won first in the state. Our girls, was second in the state, got runner-up, as well as Kaylee Lane is the third runner-up in the state, which is really good. We're proud of them. We are in the kind of process as County Executive Wayne Cresswell has shared with you. We've kind of been talking with our school liaison committee. We're going to be meeting next Tuesday night, I think that's right. So we're kind of trying to get a plan together for that. We just finished fall break, and Mr. Jenkins said, just told me just a few minutes ago, it was the calmest school break that he's ever been a part of, so that's good, that's good. But we are here to make sure that we are giving our students the best possible opportunities we can, the best education we can, in the safest possible environment. And so we just want to say thank you for what you do. We're here to partner with you, and so feel free to contact any of your school board members. I'm going to put their names out there. Please call us anytime. We're here to help serve you. We're in this together, and so thank you for what you do for Roane County Schools.
And go Jackets.
All right, anyone else want to address the county commission? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to the county attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you saw in the correspondences, the Runyon suit has been resolved. That's the suit that we filed over the deed that the lady transferred to the county. The property is back in her name where it should have been. We had many of our property maintenance suits last week, and about half of them got resolved before we came to court, so that seems to be going well. But that is my report. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
County executive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to go fast. Got a lot to cover. Justin stole my thunder on number 1, so I can cross that one off. Jim Hart from CTAS has begun collecting data from our jail to conduct a new jail study. This is important information to have before we take the next step of hiring a firm to develop a new master plan. So those of you on the Jail Alternative Committee, CTAS is doing a new jail study before we even begin what we said we were going to work on, which is a good thing. Gives us more time. Progress on the Roane County Health Department building continues. The architect is near finalization of the design. The pre-bid meeting for the demolition of the interior of the building is this week. So it continues to move along. The ambulance station on Gullahar Road is awaiting a certificate of occupancy. We still need a permit from TDOT to be able to pour a driveway connecting to the highway, and we're still awaiting the delivery of a garage. So we still have a little work to do there. The Opioid Council continues to do good work. We anticipate bringing you a recommendation for the settlement funds in January. So be on the lookout for that coming in January. The Broadband Accelerate team continues to work well past its assigned time frame. The group saw the need to continue to meet and asked permission to do so, which I obviously gave them. Their greatest challenge right now, me and Mr. Berry talked about this today, continues to be the accuracy of the coverage maps. And that's a big deal. One of their priorities is to officially challenge the maps so that people aren't left out when funds are actually available to provide new service. So what we're afraid of is this. We're able to apply for funding. We're in a great position to be able to get funding. And because these maps say that some areas are already covered, we won't be able to use those funds to get internet to people who still don't have it. And so we're trying to make sure that those maps are as accurate as they can be before we actually have to begin to distribute those funds. And again, we're just kind of the shepherd here. The funds won't actually come through us. They're with internet service providers. But that team is doing a great job, and we're working hard on that. And then I have 2 proclamations. So if Mr. Barry Stevenson could join me up here, please. Come on up, sir. We're going to stand right up here. Barry's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I can't help but think about my dad in doing this because this is such a full circle moment. So Mr. Stevenson at the time is what I'll call him in this situation, was my dad's chemistry teacher in high school. And if my dad at that age, could foresee a future where his son as the county executive was presenting a proclamation to a lifetime of service to his chemistry teacher, I'm sure that would seem like another universe type moment. But Barry has been an incredible servant to not just Roane County, but the entire region in so many different ways. We had representatives here from ADFAC in Oak Ridge who are honoring Barry at a dinner coming up in just a few weeks. And we've been working together, and it was a great opportunity for us to do what I'm about to do right here. So I'm going to read as quickly as I can, sir. Whereas Mr. Barry Stevenson, a Roane County resident, has served the Roane County community since 1965. And whereas Mr. Stevenson was raised by his father, an Air Force veteran, and his mother, along with two younger brothers in rural Dyer County, Tennessee. And whereas Mr. Stevenson married his wife of nearly 40 years, Lucy, in 1984, and is the father of 3 grown children. And whereas Mr. Stevenson began his career teaching chemistry, physics, and advanced science at Roane County High School, and then played a key part in opening Stewart Laboratories, one of the first labs in Knoxville that focused on environmental chemistry, and since 1998 has been with Materials and Chemistry Laboratory Incorporated, where he serves as president and CEO. And whereas Mr. Stevenson has served the community in many ways, including serving as a Roane State Community College Board of Directors since 2006 and past chair, member of the Roane Alliance Board of Directors, member of the Roane County Chamber of Commerce, past chair, and of the East Tennessee Economic Council, and more. And whereas Mr. Stevenson was a recipient of the 2013 Muddy Boot Award for the Inspirational Leadership in Oak Ridge, the 2017 Roane County Chamber Paul Cowell Distinguished Service Award winner, the 2020 Tennessee Board of Regents Award for Excellence in Philanthropy winner, and whereas Aid to Distressed Families of Appalachian Counties, ADFAC, will be honoring Mr. Stevenson at the 2023 11th Annual Bill Wilcox Bow Tie Celebration Fundraiser in November 2023 as someone whose actions have created positive local impact throughout the East Tennessee region. And now, therefore, I, Wade Cresswell, County Executive of Roane County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim November 4th, 2023 as Barry Stevenson Day in Roane County, Tennessee, in honor of recognition of his longtime service in Roane County. Please join me in thanking Mr. Barry Stevenson. You can, yeah, absolutely say a word.
I don't know how it feels otherwise, but I can tell you it's great to be recognized for something, honored for something that I enjoy doing as much as I enjoy supporting our nonprofits, supporting our communities. They're the building block of our democracy. And I think anything that we do and you do to strengthen those communities is worthwhile.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate this recognition. ADFAC is a good service organization to this county and participating in many ways. That event is still, Amy said to tell you there's still tickets. I appreciate it and thank you again.
Absolutely. So this is a day also we knew has been coming for some time. And Mr. Alan Lutz, I had a chance to work with Alan for 5 years when I was at the Roane Alliance. And Alan is a truly unique individual. I have never met anybody like Alan, nor will I meet anybody like Alan as long as I live. And his dedication and commitment and persistence in absolutely getting the job done in whatever way he chooses is beyond anybody I've ever met. So without further ado, I'm going to read this because it captures so much about who Alan is and why we're celebrating him tonight. Whereas Mr. Alan Lutz has served the Roane County community since 2010, and whereas Mr. Lutz has served his country and retired as a lieutenant colonel from the United States Army in 1996, whereas Mr. Lutz was the education director for Junior Achievement of East Tennessee and the first director of Junior Achievement Biztown from 2003 to 2008, prior to being hired at the Roane Alliance. Whereas Mr. Lutz first developed Education Matters for the Roane Alliance, which focuses on educational and workforce development programs that influence collaborations to successfully motivate our citizens to achieve their full potential. Whereas Mr. Lutz championed the Tennessee Scholars Program for Roane County students. In 2023 alone, 11 scholarships were awarded and 70 students were honored as Tennessee Scholars in Roane County. And whereas Mr. Lutz started the first career day for Roane County high school students in 2009, which introduced all 11th graders to regional career options every year for the last 15 years. And whereas Mr. Lutz facilitated work-based learning opportunities for high school students and industries throughout the county, introducing students to career pathways that they otherwise would not have known. And whereas Mr. Lutz has served as a key recruiter for Tennessee Achieves mentors for Roane County and has consistently placed Roane County as the leader in the state for mentor recruitment, to the extent that Mr. Lutz was a charter member of the Tennessee Achieves Hall of Fame. And now, therefore, I, Wade Cresswell, County Executive of Roane County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim October 16, 2023 as a day of recognition and thanks to Mr. Alan Lutz for his years of dedication and passion for the students of Roane County, and congratulate him on his upcoming retirement from the Roane Alliance. Alan, thank you. I didn't take this opportunity to also introduce Alan's co-workers who are here tonight. You've got Stacy Wilson, Caleb Beasley. I just read this whole thing. I'm blanked out on every name in front of me all of a sudden, and I know them all. Alan, introduce your team because I'm
Felicia, put your hand up.
Felicia.
Yes. We already said Stacy, Don.
Carrie's
not going blank down. Justin.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Let me say real quick that what Education Matters and the Roane Alliance has been able to do over the last 15 years with workforce development has been a team effort and a partnership. None of the things could have been done without the support of the director of the schools, and I've now worked with 4 different school directors. Russell is the most recent, and I hope you'll be there for a long time. And you've been great. Even with the newest senior secondary supervisor, Lance, has been great. But the school districts, the TCAT, the Roane State Community College, the nonprofits in the area, all of these groups, the businesses that I've worked with, you've all done a tremendous contribution, and the support that all of you, and the elected officials are here, in welcoming me into the communities of each of the towns and the cities within Roane County, and supporting the Education Matters programs. So thank you to all of you very much. Thank you, Wade, I appreciate it. And I am retiring, but I'm still on 3 different board of directors in the county, and I'm not leaving. So, thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
That concludes. Okay, thank you. I see no special orders, no zoning.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
On the broadband that Wade was talking about, the last mile, which is what we're confronted with because of these maps. The state just gave out $60 million to 3 counties for broadband. We weren't even considered because of the maps. Because Polk, Hardin, and Wayne County were in a worse situation, but the maps show that we're covered. The maps show that Crystal Cove is covered. Crystal Cove is not covered. There's all kinds of grants. There's the B grant. The grant was the latest one going on. They're talking about, folks with 100 speed. We could, if we could just get 25, we would be well. But the last mile is what's killing us. Without last mile infrastructure, middle mile infrastructure cannot provide service. So if we get those maps done, and I'm glad to hear you say that our committee is staying intact, because we've got to get to the state to let them know how badly these maps are, or we're going to be sitting here as all of these grants get put out to the counties. We're going to be sitting here still looking at our law. So thank you. I appreciate the committee staying in there.
Anyone else? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll go on to new business at this time. Resolution 10-2301, a resolution authorizing the abandonment of an interest approximately 2,825.7 feet of a portion of Pecona Road in Philadelphia. Do I have a motion? Second. Commissioner Cunningham.
Sounds like a good name to me.
This road is actually over in the Paint Rock community area, that they're abandoned. Is that not correct? It's not here from,
Yeah,
Yes,
that's how.
it is.
Yeah, it is.
and it's been in front of the building codes and the highway department as well. Is this correct?
Yes, it has.
All right. Commissioner Hendricks, anything?
I got further, let her speak.
All right. Any other comments? Thanks, Brooke. You're
No,
welcome.
at this time, they're leaving the right of way alone, they're just abandoning a portion of it.
Wealth of knowledge. Thank you, ma'am. All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, 14-0, resolution passed. Resolution 10-2302, a resolution authorizing the naming of a private drive located in the 4th Civil District of Roane County within South Lake subdivision off Lakeview Lane, map 089, parcel 040.05 to El Camino Way. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Ferguson. Commissioner Henderson.
I like El Caminos. Party in the back, right?
I've looked at, it's a short road with a large turnaround, so probably fits. Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes, it's passed in the planning commission by 4 support.
All right, thank y'all. Any debate, any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Brackett.
We've heard, I guess when we do this, maybe prefer to county attorney, our 911 board, do they have to be notified? There's proper channels been through? I've heard some kind of back and forth about that
Well,
when this happens, I don't know if there's maybe a break in communication or something with 911, what do we need to do to cover it, I guess?
Well, it says that this was based on a recommendation of the executive director of the E911, so I would assume that they would know.
They would go through, there's nothing else we have to do then, I guess.
Our office, we're playing catch up right now for 2023. We will provide all of the resolutions showing name changes and things like that. I actually have a contact at 911 and she checks in regularly.
I know it's kind of been happening there, so that's why I was good.
and I'm anticipating a proposal coming from the 911 board on that, but they're working through that before it comes to us, or before you.
All right, any other questions, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Ten 2302, 14 passed. All right, 10-2303, resolution authorizing the naming of private drive located in the 5th Civil District of Roane County off Spring City Highway being Teasley Road. The requester owns the property located on the map and the parcel to be called Fugate Haven Lane. Motion by Commissioner Henderson and second by Mr. Berry. Commissioner Henderson.
Is there like just one family on these roads or?
There, I mean, each one's different. In these cases, yeah, we're talking about not many homeowners.
Okay.
Commissioner Berry.
Not quite as sexy as El Camino Lane. That's what they wanted, so that's what we need to give them.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Resolution 10-2303, majority passed. All right, resolution 10-2304, resolution authorizing the naming of a private drive located in the 4th Civil District of Roane County within the Beck's View subdivision off River Road to be called Honey Bee Lane. We first thought that was Ron Woody's, but we looked it up and it was not, so there. Motion by Commissioner Hendrickson, second by Commissioner Berry. Commissioner
Woody had a hand in on naming this, so, but yeah, that's perfect.
It's not far from it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Berry.
Better honeybee than honeydew, so we'll pass it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. All right, resolution 102305, a resolution authorizing the county attorney to file a lawsuit regarding the properties as listed on the attached case request form, by violating Roane County Resolution 121805. All right, motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
I have nothing further, trying to keep everything looking good around there.
Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further, glad it ain't my house.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. 102306, a resolution authorizing the Roane County Executive to enter into an expert witness retainer agreement with Paul McLeod. Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
I defer to the county executive if he wants to speak on this.
Let me get it tabled first. Commissioner Henderson.
No, be Wilson.
All right, then I've got one request to speak that gives preference. Commissioner Goss.
The only question I got, I don't know if it'd be Wade or Attorney Lefty. You know, this guy here says that he's a professional engineer. Is he, I mean, has he done fire trucks before? I mean, he does understand the NFPA standards on stuff, for the stuff that he's gonna be looking for. And let me say, these expert witnesses, we gotta have them. I mean, that's vital. I've dealt with these in the past. We gotta have them. I just wanna make sure that, you know, that he does know fire apparatus.
I had a really hard time finding a person willing to do this. He has indicated that he can diagnose this situation. I have sent him basically all the documentation that your office has sent me, and he has reviewed them, and he's indicated that he understands the problem and he feels confident that he can be of assistance to us.
On the hours, does he estimate maybe how many hours this is gonna take?
I didn't ask him for an estimate of hours. They're usually reluctant to give you an estimate of hours. I can tell you that his hourly rate is consistent with the normal.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at that, and really $250 an hour for an expert witness, it's very reasonable. That's all I've got, so.
Commissioner Berry.
So I guess, Mr. Lefty, the key is you feel good putting him on the stand that you have to defend him, so you're good with that as far as his expert ability.
I feel comfortable with
that. And we gotta have one to move forward, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. 102306 carries 14-0. 102307, a resolution to approve a Roane County indigenous cremation policy. Motion by Hendricks, second by Gann. Commissioner Henderson.
Gotta be done.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing, sir.
Any discussion? Commissioner Berry.
The only question I would have is how much do we have in this year's budget for this?
Connie?
Let me look.
This is a situation where policy and practice at some point began to diverge, and we're trying to make sure they match up.
I'm just curious if we had, what our budget was this year versus what, if we haven't increased it because of the number.
I don't think we've increased it in a long time.
Okay.
Well, their cost have increased from last year.
So we've been charging $1,200 for a while, I think. It was $800.
Right.
And then we started charging $12 at some point, and it was, I'm sure it was.
That was this year's
funeral.
budget that it was amended. And this is just to keep it so that we would have a procedure and policies.
What is that number?
Hold on, I need to find where we've got it budget. It's probably in other charges.
Can we defer back?
Yeah, we come back to it.
Do we have to amend it? Do we have to amend the budget or anything?
No.
No, it's not in there. It's probably gonna,
Mr. Hooks could ask these
Yeah.
questions like Connie Lewis.
no, yeah. Because it could be in other charges and we have other charges. I just have to look into it. I think we have probably about 10,000 or plus.
It's almost one a month. It's probably on average about what we get.
I was just curious if we needed to amend the budget or anything.
No, not at this point. I don't think in the time that I've been here that we've had to amend the budget for, we probably have about maybe 5 at the most, if we've had that in a year.
Anything further? Chair recognizes Commissioner Hooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to brought this to the Budget Committee after being, it being brought to my attention by David C. Funeral Home and Parkers, that, you know, that it hadn't been raised in a while, and the cost was exceeding what the county was reimbursing. I don't recall, Mr. Berry, where the money was taken from, but we've looked at it. I do remember that, and the money was there. And but that's what prompted that. Some of the funeral directors approached me and asked if we could look into getting that adjusted for them because of the increased cost to them. Said, time you got a guy out of bed of a night, got him on the scene, got him, got the body to where it was going to, and get him back home, that it would eat up, more than eat up, and that was not the cost of vehicle or anything like that. So I thought it was reasonable, and that's why I brought it before the budget.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, as a former employee with Kuipers, I've only seen this happen one time, and $1,200 is a very, I mean, that's a good cost to help them out with. Expenses are high for that, but as far as the current Commissioner Berry, you know, and I've talked to some of them, you know, it may be 2 or 3 times a year if that. So it's really low numbers per funeral, right? Yes.
All right, so on page 106 in your budget books, we had spent $5,600,000 in the year 2022. We estimated about $5,800 for last year's for 2023, and we budgeted $9,000 for this year.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Thank you. I wasn't questioning the $1,200 or anything else. I'm just asking if we had to do the budget. So I don't get me wrong, $1,200, they're losing money. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call roll. Resolution 102307 passed. All right, resolution 102308. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee that was appointed to do this, Committee on Committees. Appreciate your hard work and your efforts for that, so appreciate it and thank you. This is the Committees on the Committees, Roane County Commission for the period from October 16th, 2023 to October 18th, 2024. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Henderson.
None further, appreciate their effort.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing further, thank you.
Any discussion? Commissioner Berry.
If we're on the committee, chair the committee, and now are not on that committee, we already got a committee set up, is that still appropriate?
Set up for this month, or, because the effective date is October 16th?
Well, because used to we went to January, we were going to January, so now we're in a different time. But I think one is November the 2nd.
Well, the effective, if we pass this resolution here, the effective date for it is today.
Okay, so the question is if I've called a meeting already, now I'm not on that committee,
And you're the chair of
I was the chairman of that committee. I'm no longer on that committee, called a meeting, does that mean still need to go, does they need to wait and get a new committee?
we'd have to get a ruling, but personally, I would think you would, if you've already called the meeting, you would probably, attend that meeting. But you were the chair of the meeting, give us an example, what was it?
The noise ordinance, which was actually an ad hoc committee. I don't know that you appoint, so now it's on the committee on committees, so I'm not.
And that's fine for it.
I would have thought that the ad hoc committee would have stayed in place, but it doesn't matter, I'm just curious about calling the meeting, and I'm no longer.
Was you the chair of? Was you the chairman?
Yes, sir.
Layman's chairman.
Layman was the chair?
Yeah.
I don't know what, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so never
And you may be, Ron, you may be confused because you make a lot of noise and you thought you were chair. I can understand that.
Let's move on, sir. All in favor?
So. No, and thank goodness that committee has died down compared to what it was when they filled the courtroom too, so.
No, not yet.
Well, compared to the night that they filled the courtroom here, so yes. All right, any other discussion on the committee on committees for effective date of 16 October? For effective date? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution 102308 passed 14-0. All right, resolution 102309, approving the distribution of funds to municipal organizations subject to TCA 59-109 requirements for the Community Investment Fund. I have a motion. Motion by Commissioner Duff, second by Commissioner Hendrickson. Commissioner Duff.
Yes, I appreciate we've been able to help out 2 other communities, and now we are assisting Kingston and Oliver Springs. I've spoken with the city manager in Oliver Springs, and this is going to a good project. That's all I have.
Commissioner Hendrickson.
I just like that the county and cities are working together, so let's do it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution passes. All right, next resolution is 102310, and this is to place in surplus certain Roane County vehicles and equipment as listed on the attached sheet. Commissioner Berry. Let me first get it tabled. Commissioner Hendrickson.
Yeah, if we don't need it, let's get rid of it.
No, okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Hooks.
I'll echo that, we don't need it, let's get rid of it.
All right, so this has not been in front of the property committee?
No, sir, and the property committee's gonna be meeting anyway, based on some other things, and so, and we in the last couple of months, we've taken one vehicle at a time. I just thought it'd be appropriate if we've got so many things going on that we take it to that committee first, like we should be doing all along. So I just defer it till next month.
So a motion to defer by Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Gann.
Mr. Chairman, we take it as a friendly.
We can take it, whatever makes it easiest.
And send it to the property committee.
Let's do that then.
I'm good with that if the move is, are you good with it?
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, like sign? All right, thank you all. Commissioner, resolution 1023-11, approving the longevity pay of $2,500 for 1 employee in Fund 118 Ambulance Department. Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
This has been for the budget committee. This is something that's been in place for a long time for our employees. It's also spelled out in stipulations in the employee handbook. And nothing further on this time, I'm for it.
All right, Commissioner Henderson.
Get it passed.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
just very quickly, just like to, this is, for, Steve Renzo and his 25th anniversary. So I think it's a good time to mention him and thank him for his service during last 25 years to the Roane County Ambulance Service. Right? Tim, am I right? Yes, sir.
Tim, is that the one that took me?
No,
I don't think so.
Commissioner Goss.
Should ask for more money, sir.
Boy, this is for you. This is something I'd like to see, and I don't know if the county's ever thought about it, but maybe, employees that we've got like this, that's hung around. The Sheriff's Department's got Bobby Anderson, he's looking at almost 30 years. I'd like to see us, give him some plaques or do something, and recognize them at a commission meeting. I think that means a lot to people, if we recognize them, and money's good. We all need money, but I just like to see some kind of, maybe, if we could get some kind of recognition, policy or something.
Thank you, Commissioner Goss, appreciate that. Just while you're on that subject, who is the longest serving Roane County employee to date? Anybody know that?
Probably Linda.
That's what I was thinking, in the
Linda
sheriff's
Carter.
office.
Yeah.
Linda.
Carter.
Carter. That, the consensus.
Okay, just,
School schools will have somebody longer than that.
I've been here 40.
You've been here 40? Bet maybe.
So 40 more and you'll be done. Halfway there.
I'm going before you.
so Ben Wilson was 20 when you started working.
He's about to be a smart aleck.
Any other discussion on resolution 102311? And I do agree, we do probably need to recognize our employees for longevity and such. Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries. Resolution amending General Purpose School Fund 141 reflect changes revenue expenditures estimate for the 23-24 fiscal year. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
It's been for the budget committee, simple moving funds, nothing changes. Good to go.
Commissioner Gann. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. 102312 carries 14-0. Resolution 102313, a resolution amending the Capital Projects Fund 177 reflecting changes in expenditure revenue estimates for the 23-24 fiscal year. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
This is a reverb from resolution 12. This has been for the budget committee, just moving funds to finish up the project.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing, sir.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Oh, you do? I'm sorry, I didn't see it till Commissioner Berry. No, we hadn't voted. So you're not wanting to speak to this resolution?
Holy cow.
Let's go pick it up, let's go.
All right, motion 102313 carries 14-0. Commissioner Berry, would you want to speak now?
I do. I'd just like to remind everyone that November 11th is Veterans Day, and there's a movement to VA across the country. It's asking every household, every government building, to put a green light out for the veterans. So that whole week, it'd be good if
We will have green light on the courthouse.
we can do that. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Goss.
can I make a statement or say something? I think, and it's because of Facebook, so if I missed your birthday, I apologize. I think we have a commissioner had a birthday today. Commissioner Wilson over.
Yeah, Commissioner Wilson pulled KP at the last summer. At this time, motion to adjourn, be entertained. All those in favor?
Enjoy.
County Commission business took 20 minutes.
It's